Girl, you drive me crazy, and I'm addicted to the high. One minute you amaze me, and the next I wanna die.
What's up, guys? It's Sidnie from the Kaya, and you're watching Bridging the Gap. I'm hanging out with an extra special guest here at the Real Cafe, downtown Wilmington. Brandon from the Bumpin Uglies. What's up, my dude?
Extra special? What makes me extra special?
Dude, you are extra special. Your voice is like an angel that just like sings through the halls.
Neato. All right.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. I know it's a dreary, kind of rainy day out there today.
Oh, man, best kind of days.
Yeah,
good,
right?
Good. Yeah.
Great driving days, because I heard you literally just drove straight through all the way here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, let's just start with, introducing yourself and your band. How did you guys start?
So I'm the only original member at this point, and started 10 years ago in Annapolis. It's my only band that I've ever been in.
Oh, whoa.
So I was just, I was playing songs at open mics and whatnot, and the manager at the restaurant that I worked at was like, "Yeah, we should start a band." I was like, "All right, that could be fun." And he had all the gear. And he knew a few spots that would book us, so we started playing like bar gigs, playing covers and whatnot. And I loved it. And I started writing. I'd always been into writing, but it was more like I would write like journals and like short stories and shit like that. So I started writing songs. First like dozen were awful, but then I really liked writing, so it was just.
It's therapeutic, to kind of be able to just get all your feelings and thoughts that make no sense in your head. That's why I like lyrically, a lot of yours are like, they're so relatable, I feel like, just because they're raw, but you sing it so like softly and your melodies are just so nice that like you could literally just be saying fuck it like you do in the song, and it just sounds like you're like, oh, that's so cool. Like, so what is your writing process like, or how's it evolved, over the years that you've been playing?
I just kind of like, I get ideas here and there. Like I'll get an idea for a hook or something and I write it down in the notes part. Like my phone is just like a bank of just like ideas at this point. And I'll write entire songs of lyrics that I don't know what I'm gonna do with them melodically or like musically, and then I'll the same thing with the voice memo app. I'll be sitting around playing on my guitar. Yeah, and I'll come up with a melody or a progression, and I'll record that, and piece them together, weave them together. And
it is. It's like a puzzle. You're
trying to
figure out which works where, and some pieces I found work in a multitude of ways that you can kind of rework them. So like old ideas kind of are able to be reemerged. There was some lyrics that I wrote when I was like 9 that like I will take a line from, like, oh, that one little piece was okay, but everything else is garbage. But like
our song "Serving" is like that. It was like one of the first songs I ever wrote. And it was a whole different song with a whole different hook, and I scrapped all of it except for like a few lines, and then I turned it into "Serving," and it's
and thus it was blossomed into a beautiful song.
Yeah, it's neat how that kind of stuff works.
So what are some of your like musical influences growing up?
I really like Elliott Smith a lot.
Yes.
Bright Eyes. Ben Folds is like one of the things that made me want to write songs. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's and I just got, I would never be able to do what he does on the piano, which is kind of why I started playing guitar. It's easier to get it out. Sublime is the reason I play this kind of music. I got into that like later in life. But, like I was like probably like 16, 17, like around the time I started smoking pot, I started getting into Sublime. Really started getting fucked up, that's when it's like I'm really into singer-songwriters. It's my kind of thing.
No, I like it just because, you bring in that like acoustic, feel to, some heavy rock reggae. And I think it's a cool fusion, that kind of, it appeals to everyone, people that like roots reggae and people that like, punk ska, I feel like it's a really good like merge between the two. So there's actually a really big scene up in Maryland, because I know Ballyhoo's from up there too. What was that like, do you have any like favorite places to play up in Maryland?
Oh man, my favorite place to play doesn't exist anymore. It's a Taco Bell now, but it was called The Whiskey, and it was like the local rock club in Annapolis. That's like where I put the band together, honestly. Like that's where I met Wolfie. That's where I met my original drummer. And that's like where we cut our teeth. Like for me, like learning how to play in front of people and playing a band and shit. We play there every Tuesday for the open mic. It was like 2-for-1 drinks, and then open mic with a stage and a full. So it was just this huge thing. We did it every week for like a year, and then we would do our album release shows and stuff. And it was like a community. It was like on any given night you would see like just all your friends, all the musicians that you know. And
yeah, and you start to like build, you know, like especially doing it weekly like that. You just
Yeah.
more and more people start hearing about it, and they come to hang out, and then you get to jam with new people, and you get to talk to new people. What I want to ask is, do you have any funny like road stories or any crazy stories? Because I really like to ask bands that, because I feel like there's always a diamond story somewhere.
You know, I always fuck this question up because people ask me and I never like have something queued up, but I actually just remembered one that's pretty good, which is like we were it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, and there was this band Pasadena that they broke up, but they were like our brother band back in the day, and we would tour around with them all the time. It would be like 10 humans in one 15-passenger van, and we were doing one such tour like that. We were coming back from California, and we'd made this drive a bunch of times. We were always warned about the drive through El Paso because there's like a real strict border check at El Paso, but we'd never had an incident. So we kind of thought people were just like exaggerating. This time we rolled through, and as we were rolling through, they had dogs out, and before we even got there, they just started barking. We're like, oh shit! All right, this is happening. This night's gonna get interesting. And we just stopped for dinner earlier. We got like Taco Bell and gas station bullshit. So we pull up, and the dogs just are going off, and they're like, all right, you need to step out of the vehicle. And
like,
everyone's like, a bunch of us had like just woken up from like being in the van, like, or sleeping and shit, and like we're all just silent, and like dogs are like going through the fucking van, and we're standing out in a line and it's, you know, cold and dark and scary, and no one's saying anything. And I feel like I'm feeling weird, and the Taco Bell starts digesting, and I had to fart. So like so I'm just standing there and I fart, and it's like real audible, like really, really, really loud. And
like the dogs know.
Everyone looks at each other, just starts howling, and like the guards start howling too. Everyone's just laughing, and they're like, all right, get the fuck out of here, you guys are fine. They're like, oh yes, thank you. It's the fart that saved the...
Yeah, I was gonna say, saved by the fart,
the
wow.
fart saved the tour, yeah, because there's definitely pot in the van.
You were like, no questions asked, we're gone. Thank you for your time, sir, bye. That's awesome.
That's a pretty good one. I gotta remember that next time I get that question.
Absolutely, no, that's one of the funniest ones I have heard so far. That's great. So you've toured all over. I know you're just starting your fall tour right now. You've been to a lot of cities. Do you have a specific city that you like to stay and kind of hang out and explore?
Okay, so like playing shows or like to hang out in?
It could be either. If you've got two.
I really like San Diego and St. Augustine. They're like, I love Annapolis, and I would never leave Annapolis. Like, as long as I can afford to live there, I will live there. But if I was ever to like go somewhere else, the only place I would ever consider moving would be like St. Augustine or San Diego, or like Portland, Maine would be cool too. But depending on the year.
Yeah, right.
Portland, Maine would have to be like a summer home kind of thing.
Yeah, you'd need to plan that out a little bit strategically.
But, like Ohio in general is really good to us. Like we really like playing in Ohio. Florida's dope. Chicago slams, you know. But Cleveland, Ohio is probably like the most like home away from home kind of vibe that we have right now.
I've got a good like community down there.
Yeah, it's slamming. The really cool music scene, and people just give us a lot of love there.
So what do you like to do when you're not playing music on your off time?
I like to read, and I like to play PUBG, Players Unknown Battleground. I like my simulated murder with
Heck yeah.
Competition.
Yeah, relieve some stress.
Yeah.
I hear you're expecting soon. Is this
am.
true? It was Instagram official, so.
Yeah. My wife and I are gonna have our first spawn here in January next year, 2019.
There we go. You're gonna teach them the ways of the guitar.
No, it's gonna be a doctor or a lawyer, or something with financial security.
Right.
For sure.
So you just got done playing at Surrounded. You were here last year as well. How was it? Do you have any cool experiences that you've had?
It was like in regards to Surrounded.
Yeah.
It was super cool. It was Zach and the boys did a really good job with it. It was a really well done and welcoming vibe for a festival. You know, you could tell that like musicians put it on because they like really went over the top with the hospitality.
It goes above and beyond. There, it is just a tight knit community, tucked up in these mountains, far away from everyone else.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it is a whole nother world. It's a separate universe from the rest of it.
Yeah.
I had a really fun time. There was just so many different bands. Do you have any like favorite bands that you have seen either at Surrounded or outside of Surrounded that you really like to like go see shows at, like, nowadays?
Man, I really was blown away by Of Good Nature, honestly, at Surrounded by the Sound. I hadn't really ever watched a set by them. It was super cool, like their take on the whole, like, reggae rock
They're good because they're funky.
They're
and
funky
they're
as
groovy.
shit. Yeah, it's really neat. It's not like, they're not like phoning it in and just kind of doing what's safe, which is, I don't know. I can't really get into that. Like, I need something that's like cool, whether it's like the songwriting or the style or the just something unique, you know. And I really like that.
Yeah, they have a cool vibe because I mean, all of those boys are so talented. But just like Brandon on horns and everything, like I think it really ties together. Just this like really loud big band. Like
I love watching Cam play guitar because like I had a buddy in this band called the Gold Lincolns back in Maryland that kind of did the same thing when he would do solos, and I've never seen anyone else do it. But it's like he does like a chicken thing when he's playing solos. And it's like it's funny because the other guy's like tall and skinny too, and like Cam's tall and skinny, so it's like
it's just the vibe, you know. Sometimes.
Yeah.
When you play solos, it's just like it's just automatic. You can't help it. I noticed you like to do a lot of like just acoustic sessions live, you know, on Facebook to kind of, you know, connect with your fans and stuff. I think that's, you know, really, really cool. So what social media, you know, things, if anyone who hasn't heard of the Bumpin Uglies or is just now learning, where can they find you?
Funny, thanks for asking. BumpinUgliesMusic.com is our website. We're on Twitter at Bumpin Uglies. We're on Instagram, Bumpin Uglies Music. We're on YouTube at Bumpin Uglies MD. See, there's no common denominator here, which was a bad idea on my part, but fuck it. This is what we got now. We're on Christian Mingle. I forget the username there.
Match it up.
Any Fish in the Sea. Twitch, probably. I don't know.
Probably, yeah, right? Pretty much anything that you Google, you can probably find you.
Yeah.
Right? Well, thank you so much for hanging out and, you know, getting to talk with us. I hope you enjoyed your stay in Wilmington, even though it's...
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, yeah, also, Uglies Nation on Facebook. That's important. Check that out.
Oh, yeah, that is a great way to stay up to date.
It's super dope.
It's a really good community. Everyone, you know, looks out for each other and shares cool stories and everything. Well, thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see you play tonight. We're really excited. Stay up to date with everything Bumpin Uglies. Go ahead, follow them on Instagram, Facebook. Stay up with Uglies Nation. Thank you for hanging out, bridging the gap. Sidnie, Kaya out.
La da 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 da.